Morning, Fabian. Can we just start with some team news, please? Mitoma, I know, was ill on the weekend. Will he be able to make it for the West Ham game?
Yeah, he will be back.
Danny Welbeck managed 15 minutes off the bench. How about him? Will he be ready to play more or even start the game?
Yeah, we hope so. So we have to see today, but I think he will be an option to start.
Solly March, I know he was predicted to maybe come back around the start of January. How's he getting on?
Good. He's doing some training session with the under 21 to get used to the intensity, and then step by step he should be reintegrated into our team.
Anybody else pick up any injuries from the Arsenal game?
No one. So we're doing quite well. Of course, we have some modifications during this period, like I just mentioned with Danny. Crew had a small issue. James couldn't play for 90 minutes, so we had to modify some player. But overall, it seems to get better.
No wins in 5. I know you mentioned the lack of courage after the Arsenal game from the team, but what for you at the moment is kind of the biggest issue in this run of form that you've been in?
I think the consistency, like first half, second half, then the lack in some moments of paying attention, of doing the small margins right. So I think also against Arsenal, in the end, it's about the small details. It's about how you defend when you lose a ball. It's about how you defend set pieces, and therefore it started with the Villa game with the small margins, and now it's an ongoing thing. But we have to find solutions, and then we get out of this phase.
Is the team lacking confidence at the moment? How are the teams sort of mentally during this run?
Of course, it's not a great run, so no one is full of confidence if you don't win for 5 games, but that's something we faced already several times, and now it's about sticking together, finding solutions together, taking responsibility, and then I'm quite confident that we have a big chance tomorrow to stop this run.
When you don't start games well, or you don't play sort of well for a period of time, you mentioned the Arsenal game, how as a coach do you address that? If it's also if it's repeatedly happening as well, how much of a concern is that?
No, you just can address it all the time, and that's the thing, to stay positive, to stay solution orientated. So I think it's not about blaming or finding that one player or that one person who is responsible for that. It's about doing things together, finding solutions together, and that's what is the club standing for, and that's what we try to keep pushing.
We're getting close into January. I know you've sort of talked about transfers, I think, in your last press conference, but in terms of contracts and players out of contract, Danny Welbeck's been such an important player for you. I think his contract is coming to an end, at the end of the season. Is he somebody that the club wants to retain? Are there talks happening to kind of keep Danny beyond the end of next season?
I think in general we never speak about any personal situation from a player in the public. So we do it internally, and we all know how important Danny Welbeck is. He knows it, the club knows it. So let's see what happens.
West Ham on paper seems like quite a good game in terms of turning the form around, but what sort of threat do you see from them? And actually, do you see it as a harder game because they are in such a desperate situation at the moment? How do you assess the threat that they can give Brighton?
Yeah, we felt it. We felt it in the last game against them. So I think that's it. They have individual quality. They're very good in transition. They're good in set pieces. They still know how to win Premier League games, although they're not in a great situation, but like I just mentioned, we felt it in our home game. We know how difficult it is to beat them. They proved it against Fulham again, so I think they deserve to win this game, and therefore we know that it will be a really tough opponent.
The league is so tight at the moment in that kind of middle section. Even though you haven't won in 5 and you're 13th, you're only 5 points off Chelsea. So do you think for the players, is it kind of just really important to emphasise that you've got a really good opportunity here to kind of really get back up the league, especially in these next couple of games that you have?
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like exactly, this was also a topic yesterday. So in the end, we are 5 points from 5th. So there's no reason to be negative. There's no reason to have a bad mood. There's no reason to have any doubts. There's no reason to have a little bit of lack of confidence, because we are there. It's a very tough competition. The Premier League is so equal at the moment, and therefore I always mention who finds first the consistency, who can go first on the run. This team can be very successful in this season, and that's what we try to do. So therefore we are sticking together. We are trying to find solutions, and there's no place for negativity, for doubts or anything like this. We go forward, we look forward, we stick to our principles, we stick to the things how we always solve the big challenges here in this club, and then we see what happens.
Cheers. How much of your preparation for this game was done at the start of the month? Because obviously you've played West Ham so recently.
Yeah, so I think it's always a difficulty to understand which formation they play. So in the first game, they played a back 5. Before they played several times a back 4. Now again, the last games they played in a back 4. It might be that they come in a back 5. So regarding this, we have to prepare for both. We have to prepare for a back 4 and a back 5, and that's the challenge we have. But overall, we know what we face tomorrow. We know which team we will face, and then it's just to prepare my team for different tactical formations. But in the end, it's about us. In the end, it's about our intensity, our energy we bring on the pitch. In the end, it's about our consistency. How consistent can we be in our action from the first second until the last second, and then we have a big chance to win this game.
Chris mentioned you'd said after Arsenal about the lack of courage and personality. After the West Ham game, I think you'd said you felt a lack of energy and intensity on that day. How frustrating are those things? Because presumably they're out of your control, aren't they?
Yeah, in the end, it's my responsibility. So I will never give away the responsibility I have. And I know that I'm always the guy that represents the team. And therefore, like, I have to start on my own. And I always take the responsibility on me. If we have a lack of confidence, a lack of energy, a lack of intensity, then I did something wrong in the approach. So therefore, I always start with myself. I always reflect myself, reflect my preparation, reflect my messages to the team, and then it's about finding solutions. And the thing is, like, when I talk about lack of courage, lack of energy, it's not that we don't do it for 90 minutes. Most of the times it's a short period of the game. It's a short period of the game where the opponent might punish us in this time, and we don't survive it without conceding a goal. And therefore we have to make sure, if we have these kind of periods, then we stick together, then we keep the clean sheet, and then I'm 100% convinced that we have good faces in the game. No matter against who we played in this season, we always have like really, really good faces in the game. We always proved that we can hurt the teams, no matter against who we are playing, and therefore we try to bring the consistency into our games. But that's the biggest challenge we have, but it's also the biggest challenge all the other teams have.
Is that something you're urging leaders on the pitch to recognise, those moments, and to sort of grab everyone, right, we're in a sticky spot here, let's get together?
So we all know that we're a young squad, that we have very young players on the pitch, and in some moments this can happen, definitely with young players, but that shouldn't be an excuse. And therefore we always try to manage it, to have enough leaders on the pitch. Sometimes not possible because we don't have the players fit, we don't have a Danny Welbeck fit, we don't have a James Milner always fit. And then of course in some moments you have a lack of experience, but that's what we know. And we are not complaining about that. We are not trying to use that as an excuse. We try to help the young players to grow. We try to help the team to find solutions, although there's not a leader on the pitch. And then we try to manage it in a different way. But I think that would be a bad excuse to say we don't have enough leaders on the pitch.
I've not been here for a few weeks. The last time I think was before Villa, when you just started the game against Forest like a train. Then you scored early against Villa, and then since then you seem to be starting slowly. Is that again something out of your control? Presumably every coach wants their team to start every game lightning fast.
Again, we always want to start well. We always want to start into the game and into our rhythm. But sometimes there's also a good opponent. And I think when we look at the last games, we played Villa, we played Liverpool away, we played Arsenal away. So we also should get an understanding against which team we are playing. We're not a team with, let's say, top 5 individual quality. So we have to go into these games where everything has to be on the highest level. Everything has to be on the highest standards, from the individual performance to the group performance to the units to the team performance. So everything has to be on the highest level if you want to beat the team away against Liverpool, a team that's at the moment Aston Villa, the best team or one of the best team in the league. Then everything has to be like for 90 minutes top, and we weren't able to do this. So that's just the truth. We want to be able to do this. We know we can do it for phases of the game, but we have to make sure we can do it for 90 minutes, and that's in the end my responsibility.
Just ask about one player, Diego Gomez. It's pretty much his anniversary since arriving here. How have you seen his development and progression over that 12 months?
Great. We're very happy that he's here. I think he adapted so quick to the Premier League. He brings something to our team what we don't have, physicality, like an understanding what it needs to suffer. And I think he's also a good goal scorer. So he has an incredible finish. I think he can use it more in an effective way, sometimes to get an understanding that he has to be more present in the opponent's box to get more these chances. For example, like he scored the goal against Arsenal. He was present in the opponent's box. He was there, and then you need to have someone with also the luck that the ball comes to you, but without being there, you don't have a chance to score. So there are still things where he can improve, but he's adapting, he's integrating well, he's learning English quite fast. So we're very happy that he's here.
When he arrived, he was talked about as a 6 or 8. Do you see his future being a bit further up with his goal scoring?
I think when you ask him, he will answer, I can play every position, but not goalkeeper. So that's always what he says to me. He played in his career like every position, and that shows his flexibility. And of course, he has a favorite position, but he's an absolutely team player, and therefore we can use him in several positions.
Fair enough. Thank you.
Fabian, if he was going to play in goal, he'd have to get rid of Bart Verbruggen. He's playing pretty well at the moment. He was on hand against Arsenal as well. How important is it to that spine of the team to have both him, the likes of him, JP, Lewis Dunk, sort of through the middle of the team when you're going through a period like this?
Yeah, so for him, like he had a great development so far. I think our goalkeeper coach, Jelle, and in general, also Chase Steele helps him a lot with his development. He's, for example, a player who suffered more last season. Then he made changes. We stick to him. We supported him. We went with him through bad phases, and now you see the output. So I think they're also like really positive examples, and therefore it's not only about emphasizing the bad things. And I think the question you asked, the spine is so important, but we should never forget how young, even like Bart Verbruggen or JP, Jopo van Hecke is. We all think they are 28, 29 and played like several Premier League games, but that's not the case. They are also still young players, so we demand a lot from them. We have to demand a lot from them because they have to take responsibility. But we should always get an understanding how young these persons are. So still understand that they're not machines, but definitely to answer your question, it's very important that we have this spine with them.
You changed it a little bit at the back, whether you want to call it a back three, but Diego Coppola coming in. How did you feel that worked? And was it purely down to the opposition that you went with that? Or is it something that now, after that game, you would consider doing again?
I think it's several things. So first of all, I think it worked quite well. Of course, the result don't speak for us, but or doesn't speak for us. But when we just analyze from a tactical point of view, we did a lot of good things against Arsenal. Of course, there was more the lack of courage, the lack of how we try to build up the game. But the second thing is, like I always mention, we have a lot of good center backs, and they all deserve to play because they train good, especially Kops. Like he's always there. He always try to help the team. He never puts him first. He always puts the team first. And I think these are kind of examples where me and I as a coach, we have to understand and we have to support, and therefore we try to bring Koppel on the pitch. If it's a long-term solution, we will see. Definitely we will play again like 5. If it's tomorrow, I don't know. So therefore we always have to understand also the opponent. What do we need against the opponent? What is necessary for them? So it's several reasons why we choose a back 5, and this will be also in the future the case.
It's very rare to play the same team twice in the same month. Do you see an evolution under West Ham already? Obviously they're going through a difficult period with no win in 7 at the moment.
Yeah, like I just mentioned, so I watched the game against Fulham. I watched the game before I saw our game. They were always there to win it. They were always close to win it. So I think it's a little bit similar to our situation. In the end, it's about small margins. So everyone talks about Aston Villa. So Aston Villa won, I think, now 11 or 12 games in a row. Did they always deserve it? No. Did they do the small margins right? Yes. Are they in some moments lucky? Yes, they are. So I think you have to be like on the highest level. You have to do the small margins for 100% for 90 minutes, and then you have a chance. But when you watch the games, it could always go also in the other direction. So if West Ham scores against Fulham, I think they had plenty of transition chances where they could easily score. Then they had won the game. So I think small margins really made the difference at the moment. And when you have a bad run, you have to stick together. You have to find a way to get out. In some moments you need maybe a little bit of luck, and that's what we try to go for. The luck doesn't come to you, won't fly to you. You have to work hard for this, and that's always the basic thing we have to do: to work hard, to never give up, to always have the belief. And if you do these basic things right, you will get what you deserve in the end. And I saw my team doing these things in every game. So I never saw my team giving up. I never saw my team having no belief winning the game. And therefore, the basic things are there. Now we have to do the small margins right and get the luck on our side.